Hi everyone, welcome to the Swedish movie Critic and welcome to my review of the first season of The Last of Us. This will be a spoiler-free review. A couple of weeks ago I reviewed the first episode of this series just to give you my first impressions. And I was quite impressed with what they had done with the show. I'm a big fan of the game, I've played it many times and also its sequel. And the first impression I got of the show was that it was well made and well casted with Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey in the leads. And that it stayed true to the game but also included new storylines. So now I have seen all 9 episodes of the first season, which includes the first game as well. And on the whole, as a series, I think this is really well made. I think it's a good and faithful adaptation of the first game. Pedro Pascal is really good as Joel. He gets a lot of different things to do as an actor throughout the season, a lot of shifting in the story and how the character reacts to certain events, and I think he really made a good job of it. For me, Joel in the series is sort of more like a broken character than in the game, even more emotionally broken, and I think it gets the character more weight. Bella Ramsey is also excellent as Ellie, especially during some of the later episodes in the season. She really gets to shine through certain extreme situations, and I think she nailed it really well. The complete series followed the structure of the first game, and it also deviates somewhat. It gives certain characters more backstory. It explains certain events of the game with more depth. So overall, an impressive start for this series, and it's also a huge success for HBO. I have to say though, for me, it's strange to sometimes see a story play out that you have experienced in another medium. As I said, I played the video game so many times and I knew how the big story points, where the story were going to go, how it would end for certain characters, and it follows that structure from the game, so you knew what in large was going to happen, so it didn't deviate too much from the game as well. And for me, that took away some of the suspense, because I knew what was going to happen. It would be interesting to hear from those who have just watched the show and never played the game, because I think it would leave a bigger impact. The series is only 9 episodes long, and also I think some of the storylines from the game felt a little bit rushed. I think you could have more episodes focusing on Joel and Ellie and building their relationship. And of course it's different to compare to a game, but I just didn't feel the connection between Joel and Ellie as I did in the game, because they have less time here to explore it, and also they have different storylines that takes up a lot of time during certain episodes. Certain episodes are devoted to completely different characters or just focusing on one character, and I think you can do that if you have a longer series, but in those 9 episodes I think you lose time that you need to use to connect Joel and Ellie together and that emotional bond. For me, the bond between those characters are the heart of The Last of Us. It's what made the game truly memorable, the story-driven narrative between those two characters and the heart of the story. That Joel in the beginning is just a smuggler and he's smuggling Ellie, but as time goes on, they forge a bond, like father-daughter relationship. And the series absolutely does that as well, but I think they should have spent more time focusing on that, because for me, the emotional hits that comes later in the series didn't hit me as hard, because I think they needed to spend more time developing the relationship between Joel and Ellie. I can also feel that some of the drama in it, the newly written parts, are a little bit melodramatic. I think sometimes it's very emotional manipulating, and I guess that's true of movies and television, that it's emotionally manipulating you, but here I think it was a little bit shallow and a little bit on the nose what it was trying to do and say in certain scenes, and for me it just didn't work. So yeah, lots of things to love in this show. It's a great success for the showrunners and HBO, and it's nice, I think, for people who hasn't played the game to take a part of this story and the world. So I'm glad it's a great success in every way. But to sum it up for me, I think this is a story that has already been told better in a different medium. The biggest problem for The Last of Us TV show is that it's based on a video game that's a flawless masterpiece. And then again, I can't look at it completely objectively because of my love for the first game. So yeah, it has been renewed for the second season following the second game. I really didn't like where they took the story, and I wonder how they will follow it through here. I know that Neil Druckmann, that created the game and the show, says that he will follow the same story. But for me, yeah, it was one of those really horrible twists in a story, and I wonder how it will affect the audience who has now starting to get into the characters and the world when something very dramatic happens in the beginning of the second game. Yeah, I think it will divide audiences as it divided gamers when the second game came out. So that's my thought on The Last of Us TV show. This is just my opinions. What are yours? Have you seen it? Did you like the show? If this is your first time to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can find me on YouTube and TikTok. If you follow me on YouTube, you can also watch my videos in higher quality. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.